Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Wanted to come to you tonight with a book tag that's going around. It's a revised book tag. It's season 2 of Has Steve Read It? And I was not on BookTube when season 1 came around, and so I wanted to get in on the fun. The object is to find books in your book collection that you have read and try to challenge and see, has Steve read them? And so I just wanted to get in on this fun. I've watched a couple of videos. The last one that I watched was Book Time with Elvis, Mark over at Book Time with Elvis. And I was watching his, and I thought, you know what? I could do this tag. I don't have anybody at home right now. The girls are all shopping at Walmart, getting some food for the pantry. And so I thought I got time. I might as well try it. Now, some basic rules. You need to come up with 8 books. 8 is the number. And when you come up with these books, don't come up with obscure things that nobody has ever read, like instruction manuals or, oddball textbooks, stuff like that. And there was something about works and translation and foreign books and stuff, but don't worry, Steve, I don't read that stuff. So that kind of clears the way for me. Now, when I went through my stuff and I was trying to choose what books that I would challenge Steve with, of course, I'm not going to go fiction. Steve dominates fiction. I don't read a whole lot of fiction. I've been reading a little bit more this year, but nothing like Steve's. So I wasn't even going to begin to try that. So I got into my nonfiction stuff, which is the bulk of my collection anyway. And so I brought out a few titles, and I think my goal is probably the same as Mark's over at Book Time with Elvis. He said 3 would be his goal. Could he stump Steve with 3 books? I think that's going to be my goal. I have no idea if I'll be able to do it. But anyway, let's go through the books and let's find out. So the first book that I pulled off the shelf is On the Brink of Civil War, The Compromise of 1850 and How It Changed the Course of American History by John C. Waugh. This one came to mind because I just got done teaching it to my 8th grade class last week. We were talking about the antebellum period and that build up to Civil War. And I don't know that I have ever come across any person that I actually know that's read this book. I think it's excellent. I like it. Of course, I like to read about the Compromise of 1850. I think it is very, very interesting and played a major role in U.S. history. So, Steve, have you read it? Book number 2. What would a collection of books be without a baseball book? And I might actually have 2 of them in this stack. But this first one's a biography. It's a biography by David Marinus, and it's Clemente, The Passion and Grace of Baseball's Last Hero. And it's just what it says. It's a biography on Roberto Clemente, one of the greatest Pittsburgh Pirate players to ever play the game. Absolutely awesome ball player who played with all of his heart and died tragically, giving of himself to other people in a relief mission. And excellent book. Great look at his life and what he did for baseball and just how he was as a man himself. So, Steve, have you read it? Book number 3. I'm going to suspect that he might have read this one because Alan Gelzo is an absolutely awesome Civil War historian. And this is Lincoln and Douglas, the debates that defined America. And it is exactly what it says. It's about the Lincoln-Douglas debates. And Alan Gelzo does an excellent job of, dissecting the debates, going speech by speech, telling what were the meanings of them, how did they affect the American people, newspaper accounts. I mean, it goes through all kinds of stuff. It is a really good book. So, Steve, have you read it? Book number 4 is the other baseball book, and this is one of my favorites. I've read it at least 2 times, if not 3. And it's called One Shot at Forever, A Small Town, An Unlikely Coach, and a Magical Baseball Season by Chris Ballard. And this is an absolutely awesome book also. It's about a high school baseball team that is they're looking for a head coach, and they get a head coach who is a little bit of a hippie, and it's a very conservative town, and the townspeople didn't know what to think of him, and he coaches. His style of coaching is nothing like anybody else's. It's a pretty he's pretty free with the kids, and anyway, in the state of Illinois at the time that this happened, they were still playing for the baseball championship, high school championship. All classes played for it, and so this is a small town, and they end up playing against some big city schools, and it just tells that story, and it's absolutely awesome. So Steve, have you read it? So we're halfway done, and this next book in the stack is probably the worst Abraham Lincoln book I have ever read. I hated this book. It is called The Real Lincoln, A New Look at Abraham Lincoln, His Agenda, and an Unnecessary War by Thomas J. DiLorenzo. And this book really paints Lincoln in a bad light. I should have known right from the get-go that I wouldn't like it. I think I did know I wasn't going to like it, but I was trying to balance my reading and not just get books about Lincoln that were, pro-Lincoln, rah-rah-ree. I wanted to get something that was, maybe anti-Lincoln just to see, and I hated this book. It definitely, DiLorenzo just does not do a very good job. He's got errors in the book. In my opinion, he interprets a whole lot of stuff incorrectly about Lincoln. And so anyway, hated the book, but I still have it in my Lincoln collection. And I thought I'd bring this one out because I thought he probably would have read all of the other Lincoln books that I've got. So, Steve, have you read it? All right. So, book number 6 in the stack. This is a George Washington book. It's called George Washington's First War, His Early Military Adventures, and it's by David A. Clary. This book was basically all about the French and Indian War and how this turned George Washington into the man that he became. I liked this one. It was a great background into his early military feats and how he learned to lead men. And, sometimes he was good at it and sometimes he was bad. He definitely made a lot of enemies as a young man with some of the higher ups. And I just thought it was a really good look at his life. And so, Steve, have you read it? Book number 7. I suspect he probably has read this, but I thought I'd throw it in just in case. This is 12 Years a Slave by Solomon Northup. And of course, this is the movie cover. This is a Penguin Books copy here, but this is an old account of Solomon Northup when he was stolen away into slavery. He was a free man living in the North, and he got tricked and was shipped down south. And he lived 12 years of a very hard life, and I felt really bad for him. And if you ever get a chance to see the movie was awesome also. Awesome depiction of his life. Very sad, but awesome. But the book was really good. I would highly recommend this. And Steve, have you read it? And the last book in the stack. Actually, I have 2 more, but we're only supposed to do 8. Maybe I'll throw the 9th one in just for the heck of it. But Steve, this is one that I read early last year. It was recommended to me by a couple of booktubers, and I absolutely loved it. Again, it's about the antebellum period. It's called The Caning, The Assault That Drove America to Civil War by Stephen Puleo. And of course, this was about the caning that Preston Brooks did to Charles Sumner, and he beat him senseless and on the floors of the Senate, and absolutely embarrassing piece of American history, but very interesting, and the kids always find it entertaining in the classroom. I absolutely love this book. I thought Puleo did a great job of making it so that the everyday person could understand what was going on. It was not like full of deep historical stuff to bog it down. It was just really, I thought it was really well written. So anyway, Steve, have you read it? All right, and Again, I pulled down one other one. It's a bonus book. I'm going to throw this in, Steve. I think you've actually probably read this one. But this is John Paul Jones, Sailor, Hero, Father of the American Navy by Evan Thomas. Just a biography on John Paul Jones. Very interesting. I'd never read anything else about him. I thought that Evan Thomas did an excellent job writing about naval warfare. His account of the Serapis and the Bonamy Richard, I thought it was excellent. I thought I am not a naval historian by any means, and so to make something interesting to me and that's out on the water, to make it interesting and easy to understand for a guy like me, hey, you can't go wrong there. I thought Evan Thomas did an excellent job. And so, Steve, bonus book here. Have you read it? And so there you are. I got 8 plus 1 bonus book, 9 altogether books. Wondering if Steve has read it. So Steve Donahue, are you going to take this challenge? Let me know how many you got. Again, I'm hoping to stump you on at least 3 of them. I'll keep my fingers crossed. Till next time, BookTube, happy reading.